It's time again. I've got lots of things that I keep in my phone as really unpopular opinions, and I figured it was time to come back and on YouTube here and talk about it, considering that I don't really feel like tussling with people on social media about my opinions on things. I feel like y'all get what I'm saying when I say it though. So let's get into some unpopular beauty opinions while I put on some makeup. This is not going to be like beauty level quality because I still am not sure how to work my camera to make it look like what I look like in my mirror. But y'all get the point. We're just going to chat and do some unpopular beauty opinions. I keep all sorts of thoughts and opinions in my phone, and I just really don't like bringing a lot of that to social media because you already know, like, people on social media, this is the Nessa Myrix, the Yummy Skin Blurring Balm in 8.5. You know how it is on social media. People just want to tussle. So I don't be feeling like tussling. So I rarely bring the comments, like my thoughts and things like that, there, but I feel like YouTube is a better place to do it because y'all get it. Y'all understand. And it's my page, and I feel like, people don't come here to tussle as much yet because I don't have a lot of followers. Anyway, you get the point. Let's get into some of my unpopular beauty opinions. My first opinion is about sunscreen. I have my tablet over here, so if I look over here, that's why. Wearing sunscreen, the correct amount of sunscreen daily, is mainly for people who work indoors and don't wear much makeup. And it's bordering like a classism sort of thing that I'm starting to notice. Let me tell you like what I mean. I just feel like the education around sunscreen and which sunscreens to use and how often is a newer thing in the beauty community that I feel like has really helped a lot of us. I know it's helped me because now that I know about wearing sunscreen every day and protecting my skin as much as possible, like, I feel like overall my skin has been looking better. I still get dark spots and hyperpigmentation, but it seems to fade a lot faster, and I don't have to do as much to, combat it. And of course, over time, I will see the benefits of wearing sunscreen. So I really believe in it, and I feel like it's easy enough for me to incorporate into my day-to-day life. However, the experts, the dermatologists, the scientists, and stuff like that, like, they never give alternatives or techniques and tips for people who, one, work outside and really have an active lifestyle and, may work and live in different types of climates where sun is different. I just feel like a lot of them are coming from a place of like, wear your sunscreen, make sure you're reapplying. They're putting it everywhere. And I understand you're supposed to put it all over your face. You're supposed to do one fourth teaspoon, or yeah, 1/4 teaspoon for your face. But then if if you're going to be doing neck and chest, then that's another sort of serving of it. And that is a lot of sunscreen to put on. And I just feel like it's time. We started with like everyone not having the basics. We all got the basics now. If you're a part of the beauty community and like you pay attention to that stuff, we all have that part down. Now it's really like, can y'all start giving alternatives or techniques or tips for people who can't put that much sunscreen on every single day and reapply it? Like, is it realistic for people who work outside or who even work inside but are away from their home for long periods of time to be able to put a bunch of sunscreen all over their face, around their ears, around their neck, and then be doing that reapplying? Like, every time I see, an expert doing that, it's like, you work at home. You work for yourself at home in a pretty confined space, and you putting on your sunscreen does not affect you or your work. Whereas the average everyday person, like, this would be quite a task for them to do all of that every few hours. And I don't understand why it's not being talked about as much in terms of, here's how you can travel with your sunscreen. Here's how you can work outside with your sunscreen and stuff like that. It's always in the context of like, really being a privileged person that works from home, can create their own schedule, that is not juggling, other things like toddlers at home, babies at home, going out to do things with the kids. Like if you've got like a few toddlers and or a baby and a toddler and you're trying to take them to the zoo and it's just you by yourself and you're out all day, like are you really able to like keep up with a sunscreen routine? Like you can do it before you leave, but like how can you keep up with that? It's just I want more realistic ways to be into sunscreen and use that in your daily life. I don't know. Maybe I want a tangent. Do y'all get what I'm saying? I feel like the beauties who pay attention to the skincare, skin talk, skincare Instagram, to the skin experts, the science experts, y'all get what I'm saying. It's just like I said, borders a little bit on classism too, because if you're working a blue collar job or a very manual hard labor job where you only get a certain amount of breaks, even if you work outside, you may only get a 15-minute break and a 30-minute lunch break, and then you're back outside. Like there's just not a realistic way to keep up with the type of sunscreen routine that people who are upper middle class working for themselves because they're influencers can do. I'm trying to say, like, am I covered? I tend to do 8.5 in the Yummy Skin, and then I'll go in with 9, like a little bit more in the perimeter, try to cover a little bit more dark spots, but I think this is pretty good. I can't really tell. I feel like the small screen, I really can't tell if I covered it up. Another unpopular beauty opinion is the fragrance brands that were coming out and popular are starting to get real kiddish. Real young and kiddish. I think it's been on my mind more recently because I'm on this journey to get through as many of my Sol de Janeiro fragrance sprays as possible because I think I'm just over it. I used to really like their fragrance sprays, but now that fragrance sprays are so popular and there's so much to choose from, I found myself being like just pretty disinterested in what Sol de Janeiro has to offer other than their original like Boom Boom Cream scent, the True Rosa, I think it's 62. That original scent I still like and I still feel like I'm gonna continue to use, but the other ones have just like, they're just not calling to me. And I feel like the brand in general and some of these other brands are just not calling to me anymore because it's just getting really young. It just seems like they are almost appealing to like high school kids and like middle schoolers. And maybe that's just because that's what, that's what's gotten popular, or that's the age range that has now started to pick up on their scents and stuff like that. But I'm just like, I'm just over it. I'm not as interested as I used to be. I'm not even saying what products I'm using. This is the Clinique Even Better All Over Concealer and Eraser. This is in the shade CN 116 Spice. That's what I have in the top here. And then I went in with a little bit of the Danessa Myricks Yummy Skin Lift and Flex Concealer. And this shade is in 12. And that's what I have like right here. And then this is the shade 14. Sometimes I use that one too, just to kind of give you an idea of what they look like. This is not my day-to-day, everyday routine. This is just me slapping on makeup. These are what they look like. This is just me slapping on makeup. So don't trust this as anything to follow because I will likely not be redoing the makeup this way. This is just like when I pull random things and I'm like, I'm just going to do my makeup and see how it works. I'm going to put some of the Sephora collection. This is in the shade 60 Ebony. This is their multitasking baked face powder. Sometimes I use this as like a little bit of an eyeshadow. Sometimes I use it as just like an all over baked powder. I have a few of them. I also have it in the shade 80 Sienna. But yeah, brands like Sol de Janeiro, which is like who I was thinking about when I wrote that down in my notes, I just feel like are getting younger and younger, and I'm not feeling the vibe anymore. So I'm going to use what I have and move on. I have every single one of the Sol de Janeiro fragrance sprays, except for like limited edition. I never like picked up the limited edition ones, but I'm just gonna use what I have and move on. And I still really like the original Boom Boom Cream scent, like I was saying, so I'll probably use that. Use minis. I like to keep the minis for travel because I really like the shower gel with the lotion body cream with the fragrance spray. I like their body scrub, so keeping the minis of those for travel, I think that's what I'm gonna do. But everything else I'm good on. I'm actually working on a video. I just finished up doing more of the sprays, testing more of the sprays. I want to do a video about the best fragrance sprays, like from the standpoint of how long do they last on the skin and do I feel like they're worth the cost, from drugstore all the way up to high end or it's like Sephora brands. So that's why I'm also thinking about that. But I don't know, what do you think? What brands do you feel like are getting younger and you're sort of aging out of the demographic of? Because I feel like that about quite a few brands. Remember when Morphe was like the it girl brand and it didn't feel as young? I feel like they're getting really young with how they do things. Definitely ColourPop too. It's really hard to talk and do your makeup at the same time. How do people do this and keep their thoughts going and sound coherent? Because I feel like I don't even know if I'm sounding coherent right now. The beauty gurus and who got popular was very much a product of the same sort of system. It just wasn't AI developed. It wasn't like any one platform was necessarily purposefully, maybe they were ticking a box to make sure that certain people got seen and others didn't. But I really do feel like at some point we saw the beauty community be really one noted, real one noted. I mean, we're talking about 10, 15, maybe 20 people tops at the top of the beauty YouTube and beauty guru space. And, they were pretty much the same people, the same sort of vibe. They were in the same 1 to 2 friend circles. It wasn't anything like unique about it. So we've been playing the same game for a very long time. And so, you know, I guess I guess cycles repeat itself. This is the new elf eyeliner. Nope. Brow liner, microfine brow pencil. This is in the shade deep brown. The shade that I like is, I think their deepest one, their espresso. But I got this one by accident. I used up the espresso one already. I love that this brow pencil. And so I got another one and I got the wrong shade by accident, but I feel like it works. But yeah, it just it's interesting that people, you know, talk about how the algorithm just like doesn't pushes their content down and they don't get seen and stuff like that. And I'm thinking to myself, every time I hear someone non-brown or black say that, I'm thinking, well, it's always been like that. It's just for us, for brown and black people, we've been seeing this for, over a decade. Well, about a decade at this point. Whereas now I feel like there are other classes of people, other races seeing it. It's always been an issue. Like there's always been a algorithm issue when it comes to the beauty community and race and discrimination. It just was a little bit more analog. It was a little bit more manual. People could have chosen to support more black and brown beauty creators. They just chose not to, you know? I am all over the place with this. I'm so sorry. This is the Maybelline Build-A-Brow. This is in the shade black brown. I love this. This has one side that is just the pen and then the other side is like to, hold the brows in. I did use that on my brows like before I started recording, and then sometimes I, fill in with a little bit. I kind of use both of these together. I use other products together. Like I said, this is not, don't follow this. Don't look. I love all these products, but this is not any sort of routine that you can follow because I'm doing this and I won't even remember how I did this once we're done. That's how that goes. One of the things that I keep thinking about is how the beauties have been complaining about Sephora. And Sephora doesn't have good sales. Sephora doesn't, give nobody any good gift with purchases and all that stuff. And I just keep thinking like, the only way that Sephora is ever going to change is if there's some sort of mass boycott. And nobody is going to do that because Sephora is tied to like a class symbol at this point and people just will not let it go. Like if the babes, if the beauties, if the community can let go of their attachment to Sephora being like an in crowd thing, then maybe Sephora would be forced to change. I love Sephora, but I love Ulta too. And I just feel like Ulta has proven that there is an incentive to have discounts, sales, all sorts of things all the time. I'm using just my Easy Bake and Snatch Huda Beauty pressed powder. This is the original formula. I have it in the shade Cinnamon Bun. The original cinnamon bun and the new cinnamon bun are two different shades to me. I talked about that when I reviewed it on social media if you want to see like them side by side. Sometimes if I don't want to do loose powder baking because I know I'm not going to have my makeup on for that long, I'll go ahead and just do like a pressed powder under the eyes, and that seems to work. So it makes it just, like an easy set for me. Anyway, but yeah, if the girlies can let go of their attachment to Sephora being a status symbol, then Sephora would change. Because if you start shopping at other retailers that you like, Ulta, Macy's, Sally Beauty, the drugstores, so, Walmart, Target, CVS, Walgreens, all that stuff. If we divert all of our money there, I bet you Sephora will wake up. At least Sephora in the US. There's a difference between a try on and a review. I feel like all of y'all understand this because, if you are watching YouTube, like you probably have watched or come from a time where reviews and things like that were already popular. But maybe on these social media apps, the girls just see someone opening a product, saying and describing the product as the brand would describe the product, saying it's beautiful, and that's it. That's all you get. They don't even be trying on the product half the time. And then when they do, they try it on and say, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful. You guys have got to get this. This is so amazing. And then that's it. That's it. They will never come back to it. Maybe if they love it, you'll see people come back to it, but you're getting shown the product. You're getting shown the product. You're getting maybe a try on, but not a review. A review to me is when you talk about your experience using the product more than once over time in different scenarios, different days. You're coming back to it and saying, you know what, I have been playing with this product for such and such time. I wore this product to a wedding. This is how it turned out. I have been using it every day. Here's how it looked after 7 days. That's a review. Looking for like a little highlighter brush. I keep doing that. This is the Rim Beauty eyeliner, their kohl eyeliner pencil in Midnight Black. It's okay. I feel like this one is a little older. I've had it in my collection for a while, so it's a little dry out. But, I mean, it gets the job done, I guess. And I have like the e.l.f. Bronze Betty Halo Glow Silky Powder Highlighter. A lot of times I just put a little bit in my inner corner and like a little bit on the nose. I haven't been wearing a highlighter for real like that in quite a long time, to be honest. But yeah, child. And the TikTok shop girlies, oh my gosh. Them the ones that will tell you anything. And it's because they have to do a certain amount of videos to kind of, well, one, make money, but two, to win all of these challenges and things like they're doing. So if you are on TikTok and you see these creators that are like, real fast with how they're doing stuff. They're like, this product that just came out. Oh my God, it's so beautiful. Have you seen these shades? Oh my gosh, I just love it so much. Let me spray it on. Let me show you. Oh my gosh, this is great. You can go ahead and access this on my TikTok shop down below and let me know what you think. But this is amazing. Like, they have to do it in a really quick manner, 30 seconds, sell the product, do it again over and over again. It seems like a very hard grind, but it's not helping you. It's just selling you things. It's just more like personalized selling or just advertisement. That's what it is. Do I keep sounding like an old lady? I keep sounding like an old lady. Yep, that's what that is. I sound like an old lady that is like, these kids these days, they don't know anything. It's very, very warm, like super, super, super warm. It's meant to be like a face powder, but I'm just using it as a bronzer. These are all, well, they were on sale for the longest time, but I'm pretty sure they sold out of most of them. They got down to, I want to say like $10, less than $10. So it ended up being a really good price. And I know I like the formula, so I was just like, let me grab some of these. You can kind of see. Maybe I can do more of this so that I can get better at, talking about things and doing my makeup at the same time. It's a skill set. It's a skill set. And another thing, I really don't like when people test new products on top of each other. To me, that's wild, because if a product is performing a certain way and you put it on something else that you've never tried before, how do you know that the product underneath it is not what's messing it up? I always think about stuff like that. Maybe I'm being too, I don't know, too specific about talking about products, testing products. I think my mind is always like, how can I be helpful? How can I be useful? And I feel like if I am not able to describe a product in a way, or I'm not able to share what it's doing, how it's looking, then I feel like it's not helpful or useful. And that's probably a personal thing because I'm always like, okay, if I'm gonna do it, I wanna do it right. I wanna be helpful. I have backups because I love these liners. These are creamy, they glide on, they blend really well. So these are the two shades that I stick to, the espresso shade and the Doppio espresso shade. This is the deepest shade, and I think this is the second deepest shade if you are deeper skinned like me. These are your shades. They're $3. I've already purchased. I probably have three of these and three of the other shade espresso because they're so easy to use and at $3 and they glide on really well. Love these so much. And then I'm gonna go ahead and use the Pat McGrath Labs Lip Sculpt and Shape Contour. This is one of the products that I was talking about in my new viral products, that I like the lipstick, but the lip liner is just unreasonably light. And it looked like it was going to be way deeper in the product photos. They showed it on a deeper skin model. I thought that I was really going to be able to have like a good combo with this, but no, I just like the lipstick. I'm going to use this. This is the Maybelline? Nope. Yeah, Maybelline Plump. These are their like lip plumper, spicy lip glosses. This one is in shade Hot Honey. I really love these. This has like a really pretty iridescent sort of shade to it that I really like. And these ones do, they have a little spice to them, but it's not as much as the Too Faced like lip injection. Those ones are probably the spiciest, the most tingly out of everything I've ever tried. This is manageable. This is just like a little tingle, but nothing serious. This is really where I had wanted to start this. I don't know why I didn't start with this unpopular beauty opinion. I wrote in my notes that being an introvert or a loner essentially is what helped a lot of these popular beauty influencers get popular. I mean, there's consistency that you need, but the way they're able to get that consistency is because they don't have as many competing priorities. I think if you are young in your early 20s or even in your late teens, if you don't have children, you are not caring for a family member, and you really just have to take care of yourself. You may be living at home, you may be in college, you may have a job but not be paying all your bills. All of those scenarios will help you become a creator more than anything else. Even race, because you can have all your time dedicated to whatever you want other than like school or like your job, and having free time, like true free time that other people who, like I said, married, have kids, are caring for family members, you don't have the free time. Mix all of that, and then add in things like coming from a upper middle class family or a rich family. Add in things like being in a metropolitan area like a LA or New York City where there are lots of events and opportunities. Mix in things like being an introvert, meaning that you prefer to be at home anyway. You have all the time in the world to then get on camera, record, do short form, stream, things like that. There are so many people that are where they are now just because of those factors. Things like being an introvert, wanting to be at home, not having kids, being young, living in a certain part of the country or the world. Those sorts of things seem to get people the furthest. And I wish that people would be a little bit more gentle and give themselves a little bit more grace, because when it comes to this beauty community stuff, you can only go as far as what your life can take you. You would have to really break down a lot of barriers for yourself or sacrifice in major ways to do what some of these other creators can do. You do not have the time to dedicate like a Saturday at afternoon from 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. to just recording and batch filming if you've got other people to take care of, if you've got a second job, if your one job is very much manual labor. Like, there's just no way. So I wrote that down because I was just like, I think that people sometimes are a little hard on themselves about what they can do and what they can get done, because you may have one or more of the parameters that I was just talking about that makes it a little bit harder for you to put out content. So do what you can. I'm doing what I can. I don't feel like this is a great video, but I'm going to put it out anyway because I want to be consistent and I can be. And so while I'm in this season of life where I can do this, I'm going to just put it out. I'm going to just do it. I'm just going to have the audacity. Thank you for sticking with me while I randomly put on makeup, randomly talk about things. If you like this, let me know. I can do more sit down chats, get ready with me's. I hope that I was able to talk about each product that I used and made some sort of sense. I won't know until I watch back the footage. But if you like this, go ahead and subscribe to Nubelease. Go ahead and check out my website, nubelease.com, where I talk about all things beauty, new releases, tips and tricks, skincare, makeup, a little bit of fragrance now. I'm getting into everything. Go ahead and join my email list where I do custom emails about different things like sales or, like I said, tips, tricks, help, things that will just get you through the week. I send out a few emails a month. And then also go ahead and follow me on all social media. I'm at Nubelease on Instagram, TikTok, Facebook, Pinterest. Yeah. And I will see you next time.